My grandmother would not begin anything that mattered on a Friday. Not a wash, not a move, not a hard conversation she'd been putting off. If it was important, and it was a Friday, it waited until Monday. Every single time. Now, I'll be honest with you right up front, because that's how we do things here. I am not my grandmother. I have broken more of her day rules than I ever kept, and I'll tell you which ones as we go, because half of them I think are pure foolishness, and I'll say so to your face. But there is one I have never once broken, and there's a reason for that. A Friday, years back, when somebody in my family didn't listen. That's number 12, and we will get there. The old folks ran their whole lives by the calendar. Every day of the week had its own rules. What you could start, what you'd better leave alone, and even what kind of person you'd turn out to be, depending on the day you came into the world. And I'll bet you a shiny penny you know exactly which day you were born on. Keep count of how many of these your own family still swears by. We start with Monday. Number 1. Monday. Monday set the tone for the whole week. You've heard me say that's why you never lent money on it. But Monday had a job of its own, too. Monday was wash day. Every proper household did the laundry on a Monday, and a woman who hung her wash out any later in the week got talked about. And Monday had something to say about you, if you were born on it. Monday's child, the old rhyme goes, is fair of face, the pretty one. So if you've got a good-looking friend who's a little vain about it, you go and check what day they were born, and don't be surprised at the answer. Number 2. Tuesday. Tuesday was a day to begin. If you were going to start something, a journey, a piece of work, a new venture. Tuesday was a good, lucky day to set out on. The old folks liked Tuesday. It carried you forward. And if you were born on one, then you came into this world full of grace, the rhyme says. Graceful, easy, good-natured. So the pretty one arrived on Monday, and the graceful one on Tuesday, and already you can see how much store the old folks set by the day you turned up. Number 3, Wednesday. Now Wednesday is where it gets contrary, and I do love a contradiction, because Wednesday was said to be the very best day of all to get married. We'll come back to that. But the very same tradition turns around and says a Wednesday child is full of woe, full of sorrow, the sad one. So Wednesday is your best day to marry and your worst day to be born. Nobody ever said the old rules had to agree with each other. Half the fun is watching them argue. Number 4, Thursday. Thursday was a middling sort of day, and the old folks were wary of starting the heaviest work on it. A Thursday child, they'll tell you, has far to go. A long road ahead, a life of travel, or just a hard climb. Some read that as adventure. Some read it as struggle. Depended entirely on how the person saying it felt about you. And Friday? Well, my grandmother feared Friday more than any day on the calendar, at least for beginning things. But Friday is number 12, and I'm making you wait for it, the same as she made me wait to understand it. Number 5. Saturday and Sunday. The child born on a Saturday, they said, works hard for a living. And I'll tell you a little something at my own expense in a minute about that one. Saturday also carried a warning about moving house. The old line was, Saturday flit, short time sit. Move on a Saturday, and you won't stay long in the new place. And then Sunday. Sunday was the blessed day, the best of the whole week. The old folks said the better the day, the better the deed. A child born on a Sunday was the luckiest of all, bonny and blithe and good, the way the rhyme has it. And you did not work on a Sunday. No sewing, no washing, no starting anything. Sunday was for rest, and the old folks took that seriously. Now, I promised you a story at my own expense, and here it is. I've watched that little birthday rhyme come true on more people than I can rightly count. My sister was born on a Sunday, and she is, to this day, the sweetest natured of all of us, blithe as the morning, and it is genuinely annoying. A cousin of mine came on a Wednesday, and that woman has had woe trailing after her whole life, like a dog she can't shake. And me? I was born on a Saturday, and I have worked hard for my living every single day since. So you tell me it's nonsense. I've stopped being sure. Now, The days of the week were only the beginning, because the old folks didn't just watch the day, they watched the whole calendar. And some dates you didn't touch at all. Number 6. Cutting your hair and nails by the day. There was a right day and a wrong day to cut your nails, and a whole rhyme to keep it straight. Cut them on a Monday, and you'd hear news. Cut them on a Tuesday, and money was coming. It went on like that clean through the week. And it warned you off Friday hard, for nails cut on a Friday brought sorrow. Worst of all was Sunday. Cut your nails on a Sunday, the old folks said, and the devil would be at your side the rest of the week. Now this is one I break without a shred of guilt. I cut my nails when they need cutting, Sunday or not, and the devil has yet to turn up. But my grandmother wouldn't have gone near the scissors on a Sunday if her nails were dragging the floor. Number 7. New Year's Day. This one's serious, because whatever you did on the first day of the year, the old belief said, you'd be doing all year long. So you were careful with that day. You didn't work too hard on it, or you'd toil the whole year through. You did not do the laundry. Some said you'd wash a member of the family right out, meaning you'd lose one before the year was done. You didn't pay out money or lend it, or it would flow out of your hands till next New Year. You didn't cry. And you never, ever let the fire go out. What you wanted was to spend that first day the way you hoped to spend the whole year. A little rest, a little plenty, family close, and money coming in rather than going out. Number 8. Marrying by the day and the month. The old folks even had a rhyme for which day to marry on, and it played favourites. Monday was the day for wealth, they said, and Tuesday the day for health. Wednesday, once again, was the best of all. But the back half of the week turned dark. Thursday was said to bring you losses, and Friday nothing but crosses to carry. And Saturday? The old rhyme gave that one no luck at all, which is a shame, seeing as Saturday is when nearly everybody gets married now. The months had their rules too. Marry in May, and you'll rue the day. Marry in Lent, and you'll live to repent. Now here's the honest part, and I always give you the honest part. I knew a couple who did every last thing right. Married on a Wednesday, the very best day of all, the right month, followed the whole business to the letter, and that marriage came apart inside of 3 years, luckiest day and all. So maybe the day you marry matters a good deal, less than who you're standing beside when you do it. My grandmother, for all her rules, would have agreed with that one. Number 9, the unluckiest date of the whole year. There was one date the old folks dreaded above all others, and it comes just after Christmas. The old feast some called Childermas, the Day of the Holy Innocents. Whatever day of the week it happened to land on was said to be unlucky for that entire year. You began nothing on it. Some wouldn't wash, wouldn't work, wouldn't so much as start a chore. And there were the borrowing days, the last raw days of March, which the old story said March had borrowed from April to punish somebody who'd mocked it. Wild, treacherous weather, and a bad stretch to begin anything at all. The calendar, to the old folks, was full of little trapdoors like that. You just had to know where they were. Now we come to the last of it, and the oldest clock of all. Because above the days and the dates, the old folks watched the moon. Number 10, the waxing and the waning moon. This is the big one, and it governed everything. You began things on a waxing moon, a growing moon, filling toward full, so that whatever you started would grow right along with it. You planted by it. You'd even cut your hair on a growing moon if you wanted it to come in thick and fast. But you never began anything important on a waning moon, a shrinking one, or the old belief said it would dwindle away to nothing, just the way the moon was doing. And I'll admit, this is one I don't laugh at. I've planted a garden on a shrinking moon and planted the very same seeds on a growing one, and I could not honestly swear to you it was chance that told them apart. My grandmother would have told me it wasn't chance at all. Number 11, the new moon. The young moon, that thin new sliver, had rules all its own. You never looked at a new moon for the first time through glass, never through a window. That was bad luck, and you went outside to see it clean and clear under the open sky. When you first caught sight of it, you turned the silver over in your pocket, and it was said your money would double by the next new moon. Some folks bowed to it, or curtsied, and you never, ever pointed at the new moon. That first glimpse set your luck until the moon came round again, so you met it politely. Number 12. Friday. And here we are. The day my grandmother feared most for starting anything that mattered. Now, here's a wrinkle the old folks loved. A Friday child, the birthday rhyme promises, is loving and giving. A fine thing to be. But Friday itself, my grandmother would tell you, was no day to begin. Sailors wouldn't set sail on a Friday. You didn't start a new job, or a journey, or a marriage. You didn't even turn the mattress on a Friday. Friday, the old wedding rhyme warned, was the day of crosses, of burdens you'd have to carry. And I told you there was a reason I keep this one when I laugh at the rest. Here it is. A cousin of mine decided to move her whole life clear across the country, packed up every last thing she owned, and she set out on a Friday against my grandmother's flat-out warning, waving it off the very way I'd have waved it off myself. I will not tell you it was cursed. I'll just tell you what happened. The moving truck broke down before she'd even left the county. The place she was moving to fell through while she was halfway there. And inside of a year she was back home, worn out and broke, having lost the better part of everything she'd set out with. My grandmother never once said I told you so. Somehow that was worse. I have never begun anything that mattered on a Friday since. A move, a job, a signature, a hard conversation. It waits till Monday. And I couldn't tell you for certain that it's real. I only know what I saw, and I know I'd rather wait a weekend than find out the hard way. So let me ask you, and I mean it, is there one rule like that in your life? The single one you'd never break, even while you roll your eyes at all the others, and you couldn't quite explain why if somebody put you on the spot? What day is it? What's the rule? And what happened the one time somebody didn't listen? Tell me down in the comments. I read every single one. Because here's what I've come around to after all these years. The old folks weren't so much afraid of time as they were respectful of it. The calendar didn't tell you when to be frightened. It told you when to be careful. And that is a different thing entirely. Some days you push, and some days you wait. And knowing the difference between the two is most of what living well even is. Half of these rules I still think are foolishness, and I've told you which ones. But there's a thread of hard-won sense running under all of it. You have to live every day you're given, the lucky ones and the unlucky ones alike. You don't get to pick. But there's no harm at all, my grandmother taught me, in starting the big things on a good day. And every harm in the world, once in a while, in starting them on the wrong one. So what's your count? How many of these did your family live by, whether they told you the reason or not? And tell me the day you were born, Monday, Sunday, or somewhere in between, and whether that old rhyme got you right. I read every last one. Knock on wood on your way out.